In my previous video, I spent 3 days visiting the isolated mountain village I lived in as a child, spending time seeing people and places that were an integral part of my formative years. Join me as my trip now shifts from the land to the sea, and from the mountains to the water. I had spent a day in the Lolan village, catching up with old friends and trying to recover from my injury. I wanted to spend more time with people, but I simply could not spare one additional day. So the next morning, I loaded up the bike and headed over to my friend's house to say goodbye. I told them I'm very happy to be able to come visit you. And although I've forgotten the tribal language and I'm not very good at Indonesian, you are in my heart, always. It was hard to leave, but I was glad to finally have the chance to come and visit after more than 25 years of absence.
Hey, Paya. Terima kasih.
It was a beautiful day, sunny, clean air, and the mild breeze kept me cool as I drove down the country roads. But before I went to Ampana, there was one more stop I needed to make, where my whole life in this area all got started. You see, before I lived in the mountain village, our family lived in a small village in the lowlands for 1 year, in a little wooden house on pilings, with no electricity and no plumbing.
Here's the village. This is the village where it all started.
But I hadn't lived here since I was 4 years old, so my memory of the location and the layout of the village was a bit vague. And I backtracked. Then decided to ask for directions at the T-junction.
Mari Pak. Saya mau pergi ke Ampana.
Ampana?
Ya.
Oh, boleh lewat.
Terus. Oh, oke, terima kasih banyak.
Baru belok kiri.
Waktu saya anak kecil tinggal di sini.
Amazing. The first guy I speak to in the village, he knows who my dad was?
Ya. Tahun.
Saya tahu juga Pak Tim.
Ya, oke, ya, tahun 84.
Who I was, and even where my old house was.
Oh, rumah saya di mana?
Lalu
Di situ. Oh, oke, tidak apa-apa.
40 years later.
Saya pikir, apakah ada orang di sini tahu bapak saya mungkin?
banyak yang kenal.
Banyak.
Yang tahu.
Terima kasih banyak. Saya mau datang ke Indonesia dan melihat-lihat,
Nanti salam
ya,
dari
kampung saya.
Oke.
Oke. That guy knew my dad.
You never forget the village, and it looks like the village never forgets you either. And it was back to the usual Sulawesi landscape. mountains, rice fields, palm trees, and coastline. Amazing and beautiful, with almost boring regularity. The road was great, but the rainy season had a few surprises.
Hey, a little bit of off-roading, hurrah, hurrah, and hopefully I don't crash. That would be poetic justice now, wouldn't it? Let me just stand up here. There we go. Easy, easy, easy.
Finally, I made the turnoff and headed for the beach. And as usual,
I'm gonna go this way. I have no clue. I have no clue. Reassess the map. It appears I've gone a mile down the beach too far. But you know what? It's a breeze, and it's beautiful, and it's quiet, and the people are nice, so who cares? It's nice. What a good place to get lost. Well, I found the place, and I got the bike stored, and hopefully we can get away from this lovely music. Not my idea of fun.
and before long, I was on the outrigger, headed for little Bukabuka Island. We approached a little coral atoll that somehow reminded me of Gilligan's Island. White sand coral beaches at last.
Goodness. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for this.
I only had 2 nights here, and my ankle was in no shape for any adventures. Besides, it was so nice to just wander around the resort and enjoy the quiet, the mountains in the distance, and the still water.
Here is the tent. Got a fan, a very soft bed, and you know what the best thing about this tent is? The view outside. I've got crystal clear water literally 10 feet from my room. 10 feet. I got a beachfront view, and I can see Sulawesi, main island, and the mountains.
Since it was a sunny day, I took the drone out to have a look around. The island was shaped like a triangle, about 1 kilometer across. To the south was the main island of Sulawesi and its ever-present forest-cloaked mountains. While to the north, across the royal blue waters of the Tomini Gulf, was the Togian Islands. It was so nice to see the familiar blue and turquoise ocean that I was so accustomed to. The second day was rainy. I briefly went for a swim, but the water wasn't clear enough to get good video of the coral, unfortunately.
It's a beautiful day, but it's a bit choppy and windy. And I went out about 200 meters out to the coral wall. There's a barrier reef out there, and I had to swim against the current. And beautiful, Just a straight drop. I mean, completely vertical coral wall. A lot of Moorish idols and tetras, a few angelfishes, and some parrotfishes as well. I couldn't bring my camera because I could not hold my camera in one hand and swim against the current. So unfortunately, I cannot show you the beautiful coral that I saw. But right now, the tide is so high that the waves are literally splashing right up against the bottom of my bungalow. And I'm afraid if it gets any higher, I'm going to be inundated. There we go. It's kind of a cool thing to worry about, though, being right on the beach like this. I kind of like it.
Then it was time to leave Bukabuka Island.
There's the coral. Can you see the coral? Oh well. Maybe next time. Well, it was nice. That was a good, fun excursion. Stranded for 2 nights on Gilligan's Island. Or should I say Bukabuka Island, to be perfectly correct.
And head back up into the mountains for my next destination, Lake Poso. With several more hours on the usual amazing ruins.
Shoot. Look at that coral. There's so much good coral to see around here. And I've even got my swim trunks on underneath my outfit. But I am so short of time. But the coral looks amazing. Yeah, especially out there where it gets deeper. Man, isn't that such a classic picture of Sulawesi? The mountain, the rainforest, the coconut trees, the beach, the coral, and the beautiful blue water. That is just like a picture of Central Sulawesi condensed into one frame. Lovely. I wish I could stop. I can't. I need to give myself 3 days to make this trip instead of 1. That way I can stop and snorkel. Take an hour and go snorkeling. That would be cool. Well, I hope I'm going the right way.
Then I turned off and headed south, up into some gentle rolling mountains.
Beautiful tropical mountain rainforest. I never ever get sick of it. Unless I'm in it trying to hike up a mountain. Then I can kind of get sick of all the bug bites I get.
After about 2 hours, the waters of the lake came into view.
There's the lake. There's the lake in the distance. Holy crap, it is big.
I only had about 20 minutes of driving left to get to my hotel, but of course, it began to rain. Really hard. Luckily, it was just another 30-minute downpour. And after checking into my hotel, the rain had stopped. And I put my swim trunks on and headed out to the lake.
Nice soft sand. Wow, check this out. Really nice beach, actually. So let's see here. Oh, it's really mild. It's shockingly mild. It's not cold at all. It's very mild, clear water. My goodness. That's the other side of the lake. And that's looking down the lake lengthwise. Oh, this water is excellent. It's quite clear. I can see about 20 feet, which is pretty good for a lake. Usually lakes you can only see about 5 or 6 feet. What a sweet place. Oh, why didn't I come here back in 1993 when I wanted to?
At an elevation of 1,500 feet, Lake Poso is between 5 to 9 miles wide and about 20 miles long. Its maximum depth is about 1,400 feet, and it's the third largest lake in Indonesia. I had wanted to visit this lake since about 1993, and now that I finally had the chance to see it, it had indeed exceeded my expectations. And later that evening, tune in next time as I make one last excursion to a beautiful valley containing enigmatic ruins. Despite the obstacles, and make my return trip to Palu.